Hello there. After a wonderful summer of storytelling, of teaching, of being creative in many different ways, which I will tell you about along the way, I'm back. The autumn is here, so it's time to make some more videos. And I must thank people for all the lovely comments and likes and views and everything that's going on YouTube. Thank you again. This evening I want to talk about felt making, or felting. Felt is basically made from fleece, the wool off the sheep's back. Now, there are many different breeds of sheep, so there are many different types of fleece you can get. But of course, as usual, I'm going to make it as easy and simple as possible, and the easier you make it, the more likely you are assured of success. So I've got a whole array of beautiful fleeces. I've used merino. I'm using basically merino wool. Now, you can use the wool from the sheep's back, of course you can, but there is a small little problem there. The raw fleece basically contains a thing called lanolin, that special oil in the wool that keeps the water out. Now you need to wash that out, but you have to be very careful because you're not felting at the same time. Down the road you can try that. You can also get a felting wool, a fleece. You can get it in woolen mills and stuff, and that is very good, but it takes a lot of hard work and you're not ensured of success straight away. So what I've done, I was online shopping with Vibes and Scribes in Cork, and I've got a beautiful array of different merino wools. The merino wool has such a beautiful texture, really soft, and that connects up, and that's great for felting. Now you can just buy one packet, because you get so many colours in the one packet that you could felt away with that. But I've got some nice oranges and purples, and again you mightn't see it clearly in the candlelight, to start working with. To start felting, what I'm going to use is, I have a sheet of A4 paper, and that's just to give me a little guideline. You don't have to stick rigidly, but it gives you a nice shape to start off with. Now I'm going to start with some of this lovely orange, and what you do is you pick out some of the wool, but you stretch it, really stretch it out as far as it will go. Because how the felting occurs is all these fibres are going to be opened up. And when we start felting, they join in together and they clasp each other. And that makes the fabric. Whereas if they're just kind of sitting on each other, they will come apart. So you need to stretch out the fleece as much as you can. And what I find the best way is to start one row going up and down, and the next row going across. Again, you can see the shape of the A4, but as thin as possible. You mightn't see, but there's all these fibres just ready to clasp onto something when the felting begins. They're almost like cobwebs. Now I would do this 10 to 15 layers. So this is number 3, because you really want it nicely built up. You don't want any holes showing through or kind of a translucency. Felt is the oldest fabric apparently ever made, because I think they could see the sheep's wool is so fantastic because it keeps the animal warm in winter but cool in summer, and it does keep the wet out. So it is a fantastic fabric. Oh, here we go. Are you going to cause trouble now? And using different colors every layer makes it easier to figure out which way you're going. Are you going up and down? Are you going across? So I have the piece of felt, or the piece of fleece ready. It's not felt yet. And you can see it's a nice consistency. There's no real holes in it. And for the last few layers, now again, you can do some beautiful images on the felt. But to start off, do something very simple, and what I did was like a check design. Now, you can felt like this, but what I prefer to do, if you have, this is like a net curtain, something very light material and something very manufactured. You don't want a natural occurring material because the water has to go through, and you don't want this to stick to the fleece. And what we're doing is basically closing it in, covering it in, almost like making a pillow. And what this does, it gives it edges. It keeps the edges from going all over the place. So we're going to sew. Don't worry, don't balk. So many people in this day and age just absolutely balk when they hear the word sewing. So this isn't professional sewing or anything. All you do is you put the needle through. When you bring it up again, all you're doing is keeping this material in place. And so if we keep it to that line there. Oh, Gaia, you're here. Fair play. I thought I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And bring this in. And you'll see later what advantage this brings. So you can see we're ready and get it done well. And now it's time for the fun part. So now we're ready to go felting. And the main ingredients we need is hot water, soap. Can be washing up liquid I'm using, but it can be a bar of soap as well that you rub in, and some friction, and the bubble wrap ensures that. So what? We put on our plenty of washing up liquid, pour on the hot water, and you start the rubber gloves to help. Now again, I'm doing this outside, so it's grand. If you're not able to do that, you can do it on the draining side of a sink. So I'm just rubbing it now to get all, I can feel the heat. And you just keep rubbing the heat, the soap, the friction. And again, it's a great way to get your, what's that word? Aggression. Aggression out. And the thing here is, you can't be too rough. The rougher you are with it, the better, because you're getting all those fibres to stick in close to each other. And keep doing this. More hot water, rolling it up. And here we go with the finished product. And yes, so the synthetic doesn't stick, doesn't felt to the wool. And there we go. We have our piece of felt. Crackle, and it's still a bit damp after a day. So that means there's still soap in it, and it's very important to rinse that out. Make sure it's just... Actually, one of the best things you can do now is throw this into the washing machine with a wash. In, an ordinary washing machine. To put it into one of those industrial tumble dryers isn't the best, because somehow it catches. But like this, throw it into the washing machine. It'll go through the spin and everything. The only thing is, like woolly clothes, it will shrink. But there is your first piece of felt. The next video we'll be doing stuff with it and another step forward, but it is really good to just get one done and you have a better idea then of what you're doing.